The earthquake has blocked the road. Head north, but be ready for battle. No one enters Guardiana while we live, for Dark Soul. Death to Guardiana. Death to Guardiana. You know, yeah, I'll risk it. Striking. Ooh. And sometimes certain terrain are going to wind up limiting your movement a bit more. Like obviously, you probably noticed that mountain to the left there. I can't just walk straight over it. The mountainous terrain I'm in here slows down my character's movements quite significantly. Oh yeah. Like I know there's a way to make it to where I can kind of free roam on this. Gotta remember what that button was. Okay, here we go. So yeah, you'll notice there's mountainous terrain here. That'll slow you down. Now the trees, they slow you down. They don't slow you down as bad as the mountainous terrain is. Then you'll see the plain type terrain. That is where you will move the most free. Now the water here, that will block your movement until you get to that bridge. However, you probably noticed there are certain weapon types as well as magic that can go over spaces for attacks. So, for example, if I have an archer type character here or a mage type character that can attack, they'd be able to go ahead and strike directly over the seat of that one. Of course, the knight would be intelligent and on its next round go ahead and move back. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now, one of the things you also want to make sure to go ahead and do is just because you have a fast melee character doesn't mean you want them fighting the enemy right off the bat before the other people can get there and be able to back him up. Because, you know, for example, if I were to just get like Gong right up, if I would have just been able to get Gong up there right up front, right off the bat, him fighting one on one with 3 of the goblins all at once wouldn't be a very fun day for Gong. Especially early level Gong. Early level Gong isn't very powerful. He's actually going to start off as one of your weaker starting characters. But as he levels, he gets pretty badass and even gets some decent, a couple of healing abilities later on as well. Now, he's never going to be as good of a healer as your cleric type character like Lo. But at the same time, you know, what Lo has in his, will at later levels at least have in his magical repertoire, he doesn't exactly make up very well a physical combatant at the end of the day. Okay, I probably shouldn't have moved Steambot that much to the front. But if the goblins are going to be stupid, I'm going to take advantage of it right now real quick to get my other guys up there as soon as possible since they're choosing not to attack. Let's defeat that goblin. Ooh, critical damage. Now, one of the other strategies you can that's also kind of baked into the game is the fact that enemies cannot move past your characters. You cannot move past enemy characters. That means if you have the formation right, you can help limit the pathway of enemies, but the enemies can kind of wind up doing the same to you, making it difficult for you to slip past them. Because there are levels where you don't have to defeat all the enemies, you just have to get from one place to another with your main character. However, getting there without defeating the enemies can be a bit more difficult, with no real actual reward for not defeating the enemies. There's no like pacifism bonuses here. Let's go ahead, get Luke in. Okay, good. Dao did wind up leveling this time around. That's always good to see, because getting those mages leveled is going to be super important for them to actually be able to maintain their usefulness. Okay, looks like Ken might actually be able to attack soon now that he's done being slow. Now, let's go ahead and see if anyone needs any healing real quick. Nope. Let's go ahead. You're good. Oh yeah, this is one of the ways you can go ahead, double check, see how all of your all your characters are doing if you're not sure while playing a character that may be able to go around healing them. Attacking. Now, as the game progresses, you'll have both one of the some characters you're basically guaranteed to get throughout the game, and some you actually have to find. Like Gong is one of those that you'd have to kind of go and find in order to be able to get. And in just a moment, I'll actually show you one of the other characters that you can find for early on, because otherwise it's a little bit before your next character pops in. Okay. And we are almost out of the part of this level where all movement is super slow to a crawl, which will be super nice. But that also means we're just about done with this level, as there ain't too many enemies that are out of the pain in the ass location. There's only 2 of them. Yeah, they haven't. Lo hasn't moved all that far ahead. I just gotta hope that none of them critical strike him. This is the dangers of possibly going too far ahead, as if they critically strike Luke, Luke is kinda dead there. Okay, Steambot has reached level 3. Okay. Ken's not the one I probably would have chosen in your position, but okay. Let's go ahead. Okay, that was not even worth doing with Thou. I should have just saved her flames for the next little bit. Okay, now this next section, it's going to be all about prepping the characters into the right locations here. Okay. Then what we'll do is we'll get Tao over here. Let's have this guy heal this guy for the sake of gaining some XP for low, because we want our healer to try to level quickly as well. Keep up with level with the rest of the party. So that way, hopefully when serious wounds happen at the later levels where people have lots of health, he's able to kind of stick up and stay safe. Gong here. Okay, yeah, now it's about time that we start doing this. This here, bit of a dangerous situation to go ahead and be in. for the main character, but it is the most efficient way to actually take down these enemies' health. Because it allows you, if you probably should have waited till Dao was a little bit more caught up, but actually no, she was caught up enough. It basically allows you to guarantee that all three are able to be hit by Dao, as well as having both the other two ranged characters able to hit the two Ruined Boss Knights as well. There we go. Which means that's now opened up. Which means that Rune Knight can be struck by Ken. Then Steambot's going to go ahead and get struck. And now let's hope Steambot actually survives this one. Let's go ahead and have Steambot actually take one of those, because otherwise, if he does die, he's kind of like, you kind of have to redo the battle as he's the main character. And now Dao's going to bow out of the fight because she's out of mana. Hey, Snowball. Let's go ahead and defeat that Rune Knight real quick. There we go. And then boom. Yes. Oh, yeah. So the emulator that they have on Steam allows for both speed up and reverse. Don't really use the reverse all that much. I do use the speed up on occasion with some of the older cutscenes and stuff. Now, what we'll go here, if you speak with Gort here, you know, that little fracas made me want to fight again, Steambot. I'm joining up. Gort joins the Shining Force. I'll be at the headquarters. So yeah, you can also go ahead and play it like this instead of having it full screen if you actually wanted, as a heads up. Now, I'm going to actually be ending for the night shortly. Fremen just kind of wanted to show you. So basically, these are the vast majority of Sega games here that I've actually got through the Steam library. And believe it or not, they've actually got a VR segment of this apparently as well, if you've got the VR hardware. But yeah, and like most of these are only like $1 or $2 a piece. And you can also get them in like collections as well. I know I bought mine in like a big collection where it actually saved me a chunk of change versus kind of buying them all piecemeal. But buying them all piecemeal is still an option if you prefer to just kind of pick and choose specific ones. And honestly, I'm not sure I have all of them. There might be a few that I don't own yet that I might actually pick up piecemeal. Now, Shining in the Darkness and Shining Force are kind of interrelated. Shining in the Darkness is kind of a precursor to the Shining Force series. Oh yeah, but yeah, they've got credits and they've even got like online multiplayer. I can like outright invite a Steam friend or something like that if I wanted to. So like that is one of the cool things if you ever want to do like Street Fighter or something like that for the old Sega games. That is something that is totally an option. And then of course this here controls the audio settings. This here controls room settings. I wonder if Earthworm Jim is available on Steam or not. Let me go ahead and check that actually before I fully call it for the night. Okay. So, looks like Earthworm Jim is available on Steam. It's just not part of the I don't think it would be part of the Sega Master Collection like that. Okay, yeah, and apparently the Earthworm Jim on Steam isn't all that good because it's actually not like the Sega Genesis port, it's actually a port of the DOS game, and the DOS game had a lot of problems with it. With that in mind, I'm going to be calling it an end for the night. You have a great rest of your night, Fryman.